When discussing the Book of Enoch, many consider it a mystery wrapped in controversy, but the truth is that it offers a rare glimpse into a spiritual world filled with fallen angels, Nephilim, and visions of heavens as vast as they are challenging. This text, attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, was excluded from the canonical scriptures, but continues to intrigue scholars and believers worldwide. Imagine a book that promises to reveal secrets about the fall of angels and the spiritual consequences that shape the history of humanity. Why was it excluded? What impactful truths might it contain? As you seek answers to these questions, it is essential to approach the Book of Enoch with a curious and attentive mind. Its exclusion, decided during intense theological debates, does not diminish the impact of its descriptions of the 10 heavens, the watchers, and the prophecies that echo in biblical texts. On the contrary, it challenges us to think beyond what we know, connecting past events to spiritual warnings that remain relevant today. It's as if each page is an invitation to better understand the divine plan and the mysteries surrounding heaven and earth. If you've made it this far and feel that this type of content resonates with you, subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you support the creation of more reflections like this and ensure that others can also access these discussions that few dare to explore in depth. Your subscription is a form of connection and makes a significant difference, allowing us to continue exploring the mysteries of the scriptures and the secrets that history holds. The Book of Enoch, one of the most intriguing and mysterious texts of apocryphal literature, transports us to a universe of awe-inspiring visions and powerful narratives. Attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, this book unveils profound secrets about the Nephilim, the fallen angels, and the origins of demons. Imagine the impact of discovering detailed descriptions of 10 heavens, each with unique characteristics, as Enoch witnessed what few could even dream of. It's a text that stretches the imagination and provokes deep reflection. Who hasn't wondered about the backdrop of the fall of angels or the events that led to the flood? But don't be mistaken, the Book of Enoch goes far beyond mystical narratives. It presents a prophetic reign foreshadowing the Messiah and the millennium, concepts that resonate with sacred scriptures. These elements, as fascinating as they are, inspire a mix of admiration and skepticism among scholars and believers. After all, why would a book so rich in theological detail and grand visions be excluded from the Bible? This question marks just the beginning of a great mystery. Throughout its pages, Enoch recounts encounters with the Watchers, angels who abandoned their heavenly duties to mingle with humans. Their actions resulted in the emergence of the Nephilim, beings of extraordinary strength and size that, according to the text, corrupted the earth. Have you ever heard of this improbable alliance between celestial beings and humans? It's as if the Book of Enoch serves as a portal to understanding the origin of many legends and myths that still echo today. Moreover, its descriptions of the heavens reveal an orderly cosmos where each level serves a specific purpose, governed by angelic beings and phenomena beyond human comprehension. The Book of Enoch challenges us to view heaven not just as a place of eternal peace, but as a complex and living structure. Imagine walking through these heavens and uncovering the mysteries they hold. It would be like unveiling the secrets of the universe itself. This text also sheds light on the struggle between good and evil, a recurring theme in the Bible. The role of demons, divine judgments, and the plan of redemption are depicted with an intensity few texts can match. It's as if Enoch is granting us a privileged glimpse of what's to come, while simultaneously warning us about what has already happened. These accounts invite us to reflect on our choices and their influence on the divine plan. Finally, if you want to delve deeper into the mysteries of the Book of Enoch and the biblical prophecies that connect current events to what the Bible warns us about, I have something special for you. In the first pinned comment below, you'll find an exclusive ebook on biblical prophecies. It was designed to help you understand what's happening and how to prepare for what lies ahead. But be quick. It's available for a limited time, and this might be your only chance to access valuable insights that many remain unaware of. Don't miss out. The exclusion of the Book of Enoch from the Bible is one of the most controversial episodes in theological history. At the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, under the direction of Emperor Constantine, religious leaders decided which texts would be considered divinely inspired and which would be excluded. Despite its wealth of descriptions and visions, the Book of Enoch was not included. This decision has given rise to countless biblical conspiracy theories. Why was a text addressing such profound themes left out? Could it be because of its challenging content, exposing celestial secrets and the fall of angels? Many believe the exclusion of the Book of Enoch was a strategic move. Constantine sought to unify the Roman Empire under a common faith, and texts that might create theological divisions were unwelcome. The Book of Enoch, with its narratives about the Watchers, the Nephilim, and demons, presented concepts that could be deemed controversial or uncomfortable for the orthodoxy being established. The question that lingers is, to what extent were the Council's decisions influenced by political interests rather than purely spiritual ones? Another point that fuels this discussion is the lack of consensus regarding the canonicity of the Book of Enoch among early Christians. Some communities considered it essential, while others rejected it. The impact of this division is profound, as many of the concepts found in the book, such as the descriptions of the heavens and the prophecies of the Messiah, seem to align with other scriptures. Yet its exclusion leads us to question what else was left out and whether we lost other texts that could broaden our understanding of the Bible. The implications of the exclusion of the Book of Enoch are still felt today. It raises questions about the process of selecting canonical texts and who truly held the authority to decide what would be considered sacred. Some see this exclusion as an attempt to hide truths that could change the way we understand heaven and hell, angels and demons. After all, if the Book of Enoch contains such detailed information about the Watchers and the Nephilim, why shouldn't it be accessible to everyone? The Book of Enoch continues to be studied by theologians, historians, and even those seeking answers to the mysteries of the Bible. It offers a unique perspective that challenges traditional narratives and reveals a lesser-known side of biblical history. For those who read it closely, it feels like standing before an incomplete puzzle, where the missing pieces could reveal hidden and shocking truths. Despite its exclusion, the Book of Enoch has survived and continues to spark curiosity among scholars and believers. Its existence prompts us to question the reasons behind its removal and reflect on the decisions that shaped the scriptures as we know them today. This brings us to the theological and historical motives that justified its exclusion. After all, what made this book so controversial? One of the strongest arguments for the exclusion of the Book of Enoch from the Bible is the lack of direct mention by Jesus or the apostles. Although it contains passages that seem to echo canonical scriptures, such as in the book of Jude, the silence of the key figures of the New Testament is often cited as a reason not to consider it inspired. This raises an intriguing question. Was the Book of Enoch widely known during Jesus' time, but simply not referenced because it wasn't relevant to the messages he wanted to convey? Interestingly, some early church fathers valued the Book of Enoch, suggesting it was respected by certain early Christian communities. These leaders, while not considering it canonical, recognized its historical and theological significance. Even so, the absence of explicit endorsement by the apostles made it difficult to justify its inclusion in the biblical canon. This highlights how the formation of the Bible was a dynamic process, often fraught with tension and debate. Even without explicit recognition, It's fascinating to observe how the ideas in the Book of Enoch seem to influence larger biblical themes, such as spiritual warfare, fallen angels, and the destiny of humanity. Many of these narratives find echoes in the words of Jesus and the apostolic epistles. Are these echoes mere coincidences, or could they indicate an indirect influence of the Book of Enoch on the thoughts of Christ's early followers? This possibility raises more questions than answers. Additionally, some scholars suggest that the exclusion might have been more related to cultural and political concerns than a lack of spiritual recognition. During a time of intense theological debates, church leaders had to make difficult decisions about which texts would best serve to edify and unify the Christian faith. In this context, it's possible that the Book of Enoch was viewed as a work that could divide rather than unite. This underscores how the history of Scripture is filled with strategic choices. Finally, the silence of Jesus and the apostles about the Book of Enoch doesn't diminish its ability to provoke deep reflections. After all, not all historical texts need to be recognized as canonical to offer valuable insights. The Book of Enoch, with its shocking visions and detailed descriptions of the heavens, remains an intriguing piece of the theological puzzle, inviting us to delve deeper into the rich tapestry of faith. Now I'd like to know your opinion. Do you think the silence of Jesus and the apostles is a sufficient reason to dismiss the Book of Enoch? Or do you believe it still has something important to teach us, even if it's not canonical? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your participation is essential to enrich this discussion. And who knows, your perspective might inspire others to see the topic in a new light. Another frequently cited reason for the exclusion of the Book of Enoch from the Bible is its apparent inconsistency with canonical scriptures. It presents stories and concepts that, while fascinating, seem to conflict with the central teachings of the Bible. The narrative about the Watchers, fallen angels who disobeyed God and fathered the Nephilim, is a clear example of this. These accounts raise questions that can be seen as incompatible with the more widely accepted Christian theology, especially regarding the origin of sin and the nature of angels. The Book of Enoch describes a world where fallen angels not only interacted with humans, but also taught them forbidden skills such as astrology, metallurgy, and magic. These narratives, though intriguing, contrast with the traditional view of angels as beings who serve God exclusively. This approach may have caused discomfort among early church leaders, who sought to align sacred texts with a more cohesive and uniform understanding of good and evil. Moreover, the descriptions of the heavens and the details about divine judgments in the Book of Enoch are far more elaborate and imaginative than the corresponding biblical passages. This led to doubts about its authenticity and divine inspiration. Many theologians argue that these elements might have been influenced by external mythologies and cultures, making the text less reliable as sacred scripture. This point is central to understanding why it was deemed non-canonical. Another issue is the lack of consistent support for some of the Bible's key doctrines, such as redemption through the Messiah and God's relationship with humanity. Although the Book of Enoch mentions the Messiah and foretells his millennial reign, its prophecies and interpretations are often seen as conflicting with the rest of Scripture. This contributed to its classification as more of a supplementary text than divinely inspired Scripture. Finally, the accounts of the Nephilim and the fallen angels, while fascinating, raise complex theological questions about the nature of sin and the divine plan. If these beings truly existed and played such a significant role in the corruption of the earth, why do other biblical texts not address this theme with the same depth? This absence of corroboration has strengthened the arguments of those who supported its exclusion from the canon. These inconsistencies with Scripture highlight how the Book of Enoch challenges traditional notions of faith. But is that reason enough to dismiss it completely? This is a point worth exploring as we analyze the criteria that shape the biblical canon and the impact of those decisions to this day. The authorship of the Book of Enoch is one of the most debated reasons for its exclusion from the biblical canon. Although the text is attributed to Enoch, Noah's great-grandfather, many scholars believe it was written much later, likely between the 3rd and 2nd centuries BCE. This temporal discrepancy casts doubt on its authenticity, as a book inspired by God would theoretically need to have been produced by the author to whom it is attributed. This uncertainty opens the door to countless speculations and theories. The questionable authorship also raises concerns about the reliability of its content. If the Book of Enoch was written centuries after Enoch's time, it suggests that it may have been influenced by oral traditions, mythologies, and cultural interpretations accumulated over time. While these elements may enrich the text in literary terms, they could compromise its validity as sacred scripture. After all, to what extent can we trust that these visions and accounts truly came from God? Another significant point is the absence of any mention of the Book of Enoch in older Jewish scriptures, such as the Torah. This suggests that it was not widely recognized or accepted by religious communities of the time. While other texts like the Psalms and the Prophets were preserved with great care, the Book of Enoch did not receive the same treatment. This lack of historical recognition is one of the reasons many religious leaders questioned its relevance and divine inspiration. Additionally, the style and content of the Book of Enoch differ significantly from other biblical texts. Its vivid descriptions of the heavens, angels, and divine judgments are far more detailed than those found in canonical scriptures. This has led some scholars to suggest that the text may have been developed by multiple authors, each adding their own interpretations and visions. This multiplicity of voices contributed to the doubts about its original authorship. Even so, the question of authorship does not diminish the theological impact of the Book of Enoch. It continues to be a source of fascination and study, offering insights into how ancient communities understood the cosmos, the role of angels, and the destiny of humanity. These perspectives, while non-canonical, help expand our understanding of theological history and reflect on the complexities of faith. The doubt surrounding the authorship of the Book of Enoch is just one element that adds to the mystery surrounding it. Still, it does not fully explain why it was rejected by both Jewish and Christian communities. Perhaps the next point will help clarify how its relationship with the Torah influenced this decision. The exclusion of the Book of Enoch from the Torah was a decisive step that influenced its rejection in Christian scriptures. For Jewish scholars, any text presenting ideas inconsistent with the teachings of the Torah could not be considered sacred. The Book of Enoch, with its elaborate descriptions of the heavens and the watchers, presented a theological universe that seemed to go beyond the boundaries established by Jewish tradition. This disagreement was sufficient for it to be dismissed as inspired scripture, marking a turning point in its historical trajectory. The concepts presented in the Book of Enoch, such as the rebellion of the fallen angels and the existence of the Nephilim, contradicted the more concise and straightforward explanations of the Torah. While canonical Jewish texts emphasize God's sovereignty and humanity's role in creation, the Book of Enoch introduces narratives that shift the focus to the angels and their actions on earth. This difference in theological emphasis was one of the main factors that led to its rejection by Jewish religious leaders. Another aspect contributing to its exclusion was the cultural and social impact of the Book of Enoch. Its stories, rich in supernatural elements, could be interpreted as a threat to the simplicity and clarity of the Torah's teachings. In a period when doctrinal purity was essential for preserving Jewish faith, texts presenting alternative ideas were met with great suspicion. This stance helped solidify the Torah's canon, but left the Book of Enoch on the margins of religious tradition, Despite its exclusion, it is impossible to ignore the influence of the Book of Enoch on other religious traditions. Many of the concepts it introduces, such as the role of the Watchers and the different levels of the heavens, resonate in various biblical passages. This shows that even outside the canon, its ideas continued to shape the spiritual imagination of generations. The exclusion from the Torah did not erase its impact, but transformed the Book of Enoch into a theological enigma that still challenges scholars and believers. Finally, if this text has brought something new to you or even sparked a different reflection on the criteria that shape the scriptures, your support makes all the difference. Leave a like so more people can access this content and contribute to this rich and underexplored discussion. Who knows, together we might uncover even more about the mysteries surrounding texts like the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch stands out for its vivid and detailed descriptions of 10 heavens, each with unique functions and characteristics. These passages, filled with symbolism and imagination, present a complex cosmos inhabited by angelic beings and supernatural phenomena. Each level of heaven described by Enoch seems to have a distinct purpose, ranging from the place where angels minister to realms reserved for the righteous or the condemned. It is a vision that goes beyond the more concise and straightforward descriptions found in canonical scriptures, offering an almost cinematic panorama of the celestial universe. The first heaven, for example, is described as the dwelling place of stars and atmospheric phenomena. The second heaven, according to the text, houses fallen angels who are imprisoned and awaiting final judgment. This contrast between divine order and the chaos of rebellious angels reinforces Enoch's role as an intermediary, witnessing both the glory of God and the consequences of celestial disobedience. It's as if each level reflects different aspects of the cosmos, balancing light and darkness in a dramatic way. The descriptions of the heavens in the Book of Enoch also emphasize the interaction between the spiritual and physical worlds. In his visions, Enoch recounts encounters with angels who serve as guardians of the heavens, each with specific tasks and impressive powers. These details offer a hierarchical view of the cosmos, where each angel plays a crucial role in the functioning of the universe. This idea, while fascinating, differs from the canonical scriptures, which generally present heaven in a more unified and symbolic manner. The upper levels of the heavens, as described in the Book of Enoch, are portrayed as places of divine majesty, where the presence of God is directly and transformatively felt. Enoch mentions visions of celestial thrones, multitudes of angels in worship, and an indescribable radiance representing divine glory. These grand images capture the imagination and invite the reader to contemplate the magnitude of a universe created by God, while also prompting reflections on humanity's ultimate destiny. While these descriptions are rich in detail, they also raise questions about their origin and purpose. Some align with apocalyptic visions found in texts like the Book of Revelation, while others seem unique to the Book of Enoch. This reinforces the idea that it offers an alternative perspective on heaven and hell, one that may complement or challenge more traditional understandings found in Scripture. The descriptions of the heavens in the Book of Enoch continue to captivate scholars and believers, sparking debates about their validity and inspiration. But beyond their literary beauty, these passages invite us to reflect on the grandeur and mysteries of divine creation. And as we will see in the next point, these visions also introduce significant divergences when compared to other biblical texts. Although the Book of Jude in the New Testament explicitly references the Book of Enoch, the differences between the texts are striking. Jude directly quotes a prophecy attributed to Enoch, mentioning God's coming with thousands of his saints to execute judgment. This citation seems to authenticate the Book of Enoch to some extent, but the differences in style, language, and context between the two texts raise doubts about how much Jude considered the book to be inspired scripture. After all, a citation does not necessarily imply full endorsement. These differences have fueled debates among scholars for centuries. Some argue that Jude was merely using a culturally familiar example to reinforce his message, while others believe he saw the Book of Enoch as a reliable source of wisdom. This ambiguity only adds more layers to the mystery of the text and its exclusion from canonical scriptures. Why was something quoted in the New Testament not included in the complete Bible? This question continues to intrigue both theologians and modern readers. Moreover, the divergences between the Book of Jude and the Book of Enoch are also related to how concepts are presented. While Jude uses Enoch's prophecy to emphasize the seriousness of divine judgment, the Book of Enoch provides a much broader and more detailed vision of apocalyptic events. These differences may be attributed to the historical and cultural context in which each text was written, but they also highlight the complexity of understanding the Book of Enoch's role within early Christianity. The controversy surrounding these divergences presents an opportunity to reflect on the impact of oral and written traditions on the formation of sacred scriptures. The fact that Jude cites the Book of Enoch shows that it had some relevance at the time, but its exclusion from the canon suggests that the decision was more complicated than we might imagine. These nuances help us realize that the history of the scriptures is rich with debates and decisions that shape the faith as we know it today. Finally, if you want to delve deeper into what these texts reveal about what is to come and how current events connect to biblical prophecies, I have something special for you. In the first pinned comment below, you'll find an exclusive ebook about biblical prophecies, designed to help you prepare and understand the connection between today's events and the warnings the Bible gives us. But pay attention, it will only be available for a limited time, and you may not have another chance to access this valuable information. Take advantage of it while it's still accessible. The Book of Enoch is undoubtedly one of the most fascinating works of apocryphal literature, but also one of the most controversial. Its exclusion from the biblical canon does not erase its historical and theological impact, and it remains a valuable source of study for understanding the religious thought of early Jewish and Christian communities. However, when analyzing it, it is important to remember that it should not be treated as canonical scripture. Its literary richness and surprising visions make it a complementary resource, but not a foundation for faith or doctrine. Exploring the Book of Enoch offers a deeper understanding of the narratives that shaped apocalyptic thought and beliefs about the spiritual cosmos. However, this exploration must be approached with caution and discernment. For example, while its descriptions of the heavens and fallen angels are captivating, they must be compared to the teachings of the canonical scriptures. This balanced approach allows readers to appreciate the richness of the text without compromising the foundations of their faith. Moreover, the Book of Enoch reflects the cultural and religious complexities of its time. Its stories about the Watchers, the Nephilim, and divine judgments reveal how ancient communities tried to make sense of evil, justice, and divine intervention. While these narratives do not fully align with the Torah or the New Testament, they offer a unique historical perspective on theological issues that are still debated today. It's also important to recognize that the Book of Enoch influences contemporary discussions about theology and biblical history. It provides a backdrop for better understanding enigmatic Bible passages such as the references to the sons of God and giants in Genesis 6. Although not considered inspired scripture, its content can enrich biblical studies and help fill in gaps in understanding more widely accepted texts. In summary, the Book of Enoch should be read with an open mind and a critical eye. It is not merely a collection of ancient stories, but a testament to the diversity of thoughts about God, the cosmos, and humanity's destiny. For those seeking to delve deeper into the history of theology and the roots of biblical prophecy, the Book of Enoch is a text worth considering. always with the awareness that its authority is limited compared to the canonical scriptures. Now that you've explored the shocking visions in the Book of Enoch and understood the reasons behind its exclusion, one question remains: what will you do with this knowledge? Can you recognize the signs around us today that may have been foretold thousands of years ago? This is the time to reflect on how these hidden truths could transform your perspective on faith, history, and even the events we are experiencing in today's world. If this content has brought value to you, apply what you've learned. Reflect on the impact that the Bible and its texts, canonical or not, can have on our lives. Question, investigate, and seek the truth beyond what has been conventionally presented to us. Remember, knowledge is a powerful tool, but only when used to create transformation. Finally, if you want to continue exploring topics like this and gain access to more profound and revealing analyses, subscribe to the channel. Your participation is essential to keep this rich and meaningful exchange alive. Together, let's decipher the mysteries that the past has left for us. What do you think? Are you ready to take the next step?